Last week, I was sitting with my cousin while he was doing his homework. And suddenly, he looked at me and asked, why do airplanes stay in the air? It was such a simple question. So I started explaining the best way I could. I talked about wings, air pressure, and how the shape of the airplane pushes air downward so the plane can stay up. He listened for a few seconds. Then he said, wait, and he picked up my phone, searched the question, and within a second, a video appeared explaining the answer. He watched the whole video and he nodded. And then he moved on to his homework again. No second question, no third question. The conversation simply ended. And that small moment stayed in my mind. Because when I was younger, a question like that would start a chain reaction. First, you wonder about airplanes, then you wonder about gravity, then about rockets, then about space. So one question leads to another. But that night, I felt something different. And a few days later, I noticed something similar in my own life. So basically, one day evening, I opened my phone and started watching a short video about black holes. So the video explained how a giant star collapses and becomes so dense that even light cannot escape. The idea was fascinating. So I watched the whole video until the end. Then the next video appeared and I watched that one too. Then another one appeared and another one and then another one. Before I realized it, 30 minutes has passed. But suddenly I realized something strange. I never actually searched for black holes. I never opened my phone wondering about space. And I passively followed. And that moment made me think about something deeper. Curiosity used to pull us toward knowledge. But now knowledge is constantly pushed toward us. And that small difference might be changing the way our mind works. So this raises an uncomfortable question. Are we slowly losing our curiosity? So today we are going to explore that question together. At first we will look at how curiosity naturally changes as we grow older. And then we will see how modern life, technology and artificial intelligence might be accelerating that change. And finally, we will ask the most important question. Can we bring curiosity back before we completely lose it? So to understand what is happening today, we first need to understand something about human nature. Curiosity is not random. It actually follows a pattern throughout our life. When children are young, curiosity is extremely powerful. A child touches everything. They open drawers, even they break toys just to see what is inside. They ask hundreds of questions every single day. That curiosity is not annoying. This is how our brain learns. Scientists call this exploratory curiosity. The brain wants to understand the world. But as people grow older, curiosity changes. Researchers have studied something called trait curiosity. So this is the natural tendency of a person to explore new ideas. And many studies show that this broad curiosity slowly declines after young adulthood. But this does not mean curiosity disappears. It simply becomes more selective. For example, a child might want to learn about dinosaurs, space, insects, volcanoes, and robots all in the same day. But an adult might become deeply curious about one or two things. Maybe history, cooking, or technology. So here curiosity becomes focused instead of wide. That part is natural. But the real problem may not be age. The real problem might be the environment we live in today. Let us start with education. Many scholars reward the correct answer more than the curious one. Students study to pass exams. They memorize information and then they forget it. But curiosity does not grow in an environment where mistakes feel dangerous. Curiosity needs freedom. Then there is technology. Just think about how we use internet today. Before the internet, if you were curious for something, you had to search for it. You had to read, you had to explore. But today, content finds you first. Social media algorithms analyze your behavior. Then they feed you content similar to what you already watched. So instead of discovering new ideas, you often see the same idea repeated in different forms. This creates something called an information bubble. Your world becomes smaller without you realizing it. And then there is artificial intelligence. AI tools can answer questions instantly. They can summarize books, they can write essays, and they can explain complex topics in seconds. This is very powerful, but it also creates a strange situation. The effort of curiosity disappears. In the past, curiosity required patience. You had to wonder, you had to research, you had to struggle with confusion. That struggle was actually important because curiosity is not about about answers. It is about the journey toward answers. When that journey disappears, something subtle changes in mind. It becomes to consume information than explore it. And that might be why many people feel mentally tired, even though they are constantly consume contents. But here is where the story becomes interesting. Curiosity might not be dying. It might simply be changing form. So despite all these concerns, curiosity is surprisingly resilient. History shows that humans are naturally wired to explore. And even today, curiosity appears in unexpected places. For example, many teenagers spend hours learning things online that schools never taught them. Some learn coding, some psychology, some explores into niche topics like astronomy, fitness science, or digital art. So their curiosity simply lives in different spaces. But the real danger is not technology itself. The real danger is passive living. Curiosity dies when we stop asking questions, and modern life makes it very easy to stop asking. Today, everything is optimized for convenience. Food arrives instantly, entertainment arrives instantly, information arrives instantly. But curiosity grows in the opposite condition. Curiosity grows in uncertainty. Curiosity grows in boredom, and curiosity grows when the brain has space to wonder. Let me give you a small example. Think about the last time you were truly bored. No phone, no music, and no video. Just silence. At first, it feels uncomfortable, but after a few minutes, something interesting happens. Your mind starts wandering. Ideas appear. Questions appear. You suddenly remember things you wanted to learn or try. That moment is where curiosity begins again. So maybe the real question is not, are we losing curiosity? Maybe the real question is, are we giving curiosity enough space to exist? Because curiosity is like a muscle. If you stop using it, it becomes old. But if you start using it again, it grows stronger. Ask more questions. Explore topics that are outside your usual interests. Read things that challenges your beliefs. Talk to people who think differently from you. And most importantly, allow yourself to know things, because curiosity does not start with knowledge. Curiosity starts with wonder, and the future may depend on that simple human habit. Machines can give us answers, but only humans can choose the questions. So the next time you feel the urge to search for an instant answer, pause for a moment and let the question sit in your mind. Think about, explore it, because the small moment of wondering might be one of the most human things we will have. And maybe the real challenge of 2026 is not learning more. Maybe it is remembering how to wonder again.